All right. Welcome to be back. Happy, feel, thrill, excited. The summer's going on. We have no clothes on. It's nice to go for a run. It's nice to go for a walk and just enjoy the weather. I'm excited to have my special guest tonight, Stella Pulo, a dear friend, exquisite actor, writer, member, lifetime member of the Actors Studio, and of course, she's the author of this beautiful book. I read it twice, by the way. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying, shrimp shells in my cleavage. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Sissy. I love being here. I love it when I'm with you. You always make me feel so energetic.
Well, you have a lot of energy,
Thank
Stella.
you.
You have a lot of, is it subtle energy? It's much more, like mine's a little bit all over the place, but it's always fun to have you here. Thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
We're going to start talking about this wonderful book. I just want to send my regards to Charles Casano, one of my associate producers. He directed his first short play this week, Stella, and I was very excited to see him, in the director's chair.
I think this is his debut as a director.
As a director, yes.
Because he's a wonderful actor.
Yes.
And I always think that the best directors know about the acting process.
It's so true.
That's my experience. Whenever I've been directed, I've always felt best when I know the director's done a bit of acting. They seem to know the right words to use, the right terminology,
yes,
and how to get the best performance out of you.
Yeah, it's so true.
So I must go and see what Charles is up to.
Yeah, it's exciting to see him because he's always working and he's always doing all these shows and a stage manager. And he's helping to produce this show and he's just got a lot of stuff on the table.
He's multi-talented. And
he's multi-talented,
he's
that's correct.
Originally from Australia like me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, go figure. He speaks Spanish.
Oh.
His dad, rest in peace, died like maybe, 7 years ago. And his mom, still living. She's in Australia. She goes back and forth. And, Charles is a very good friend of mine. And so is Alex and Nacho Guevara and Esteban Quesada and Barbara Jimenez and everybody else. I'm a little bit excited today, obviously, because I have my family here. I have my brother Esteban and his lovely wife Patricia. They are coming from Costa Rica, and I don't want to cry, but it's an exciting,
fabulous
feeling. I have my sister who she's familiar with the whole thing, and Gloria Messer. But it's nice to have my family.
Oh, I know. My family came to visit me. My mother came, my father came when he was still alive, and my brother came, and not all together, but in bits and pieces. And it's very special because we leave home, we leave our home country, and it's a very big deal.
It is.
It's a very big deal, even if you speak English like we do in Australia, and then you come to America. It's still a very different place, to get adjusted, especially New York. Everything's so different, so expensive.
Right.
So it's wonderful when your family and close friends come, and they start to understand a little bit about your world. And how you live.
And they can see it, how you live,
and they see how you live. And they then understand why we work 24/7 and why we are always with our eyes open,
Right. It's a special city, a special place, and you learn to appreciate life when you lose somebody. Like I lost my father, you lost yours.
And that's one of the hardest things when something happens back home to your family. And in my case, I'm 22 hours away.
Yeah, I know.
Even if I jump on the plane tomorrow, it doesn't mean I'm going to get there till the day after. So it's very hard, and you just have to make some decisions, Thank God we've got Skype and phones and faxes. Oh, I bought my mother a computer and she's learned how to use it.
And she likes it?
And now she does Skype, and she's on to me all the time. Where are you? And sometimes I'm on Times Square and I just turn the camera around and I say, here I am.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful feeling, right?
And they can see on the other side of the world how you live and what you're doing.
Yeah, and what I love, even though some people love it, whether you hate it, you love it, or just in between, the fact that you can capture just a moment. You can capture this conversation. I can capture my time with my family, get a picture, and get a Skype image. It's just, to me, priceless.
Yeah. It's
right?
Really, really priceless. I mean, I have an aunt in Australia. She's 88, and she left Malta by ship. It took 4 months to get from Malta to Australia, and there were no phones. Ooh. And she never saw her family again in Malta.
In Malta.
You know,
it's beautiful, that place.
Oh, it is.
It's like I want to talk about, because there's so many stories and you have so much sense of humor, and it's such an easy read. It's just enjoy. You love it. It's like I said. It's not like a ground gripping into your heart that says. It's just it's a beautiful kind of like light reading. Am I right?
That's right. You know, I think that if you can reach audiences by saying something in a way that's entertaining, I mean, I think that's why,
and fun too.
And I left Australia and travelled for 5 years non-stop, and I went to many, many countries, and I lived in Paris and I lived in London, and I went to Malta. All my family's from Malta. Not many people know what that is.
Right.
It's become a little bit
so
more.
True.
It's become a little bit more well known because it joined the Economic Community (EEC), and also it's been in the New York Times. And I speak Maltese, but nobody ever asks for it.
Right.
So, you know, it's like
I think I never heard, honestly. I'm just trying to be ignorant, but I have no idea how it sounds like.
It's okay, because not many. It sounds very. It's got a lot of Arabic in it, even though.
Even the spelling too.
Oh,
if you write it down.
I can't read and write.
Okay, but you can speak it.
For example, you simni Stella omi misiri ed in Australia. Era au kif inti.
That's Maltese?
And that's Maltese.
Keep going. It sounds good. I'm putting you in the spot. I don't care. Bring it on,
you
baby.
You really are. Awek, New York, ما نتكلمش بالمالتي عش منديش حبيبي مالتين. allura jina nitkellem bil-English in New York. So it's got a little bit of everything, you know. It's got a little bit of Italian, a little bit of Arabic, and it's strategically, it's right in the cross between Africa, you know, in the Mediterranean.
Right.
So during the war, it was a very important place. Strategic
place.
So I was born in Australia. My mother went to Melbourne when she was 11, to Australia when she was 11. And my father, he left Malta when he was about 10, and he roamed around London, and then he settled in Australia. A lot of Maltese did. After the war, they went to either Australia, Canada, South Africa, London, or America. So they all went to Australia and settled and made a life, and a good life, you know, work hard like all migrants do, you know. Anyway, so, you know, I grew up listening to it, and I heard them speak about Malta around the kitchen table all the time.
So you picked it up quick? It was a quick adjustment for you?
They spoke to me and my brother in Maltese.
Okay.
And I spoke until I was 12 years old, and then I stopped.
You dropped it completely.
I dropped it. But I went to Malta years later. I had my own TV show, just like this, for tourists, and I had to speak it again. So I picked it up. Because, you know, if you speak a language as a child,
it really helps you.
You usually don't lose it. You have to brush up on it later on in life. But you don't usually lose it altogether.
Right, smart,
so
that's true.
I started to speak in Maltese while I was there. As I lived there for a while. And I was writing. And I wrote in every country that I went to. And I wrote...
You keep a diary, correct? Or just a regular notes?
I wrote, like my introduction says, anything I could write on. Toilet paper, napkins, back of receipts. It didn't matter. If I had an idea, if I saw something, I jotted it down. And then slowly stories came together. But I discovered something. You know, I say these are fictionalized memoirs. Everything happened.
Right.
But I really believe that if you don't write it and publish it on the spot, then it's always going to have an element of fiction, because our memories
Doesn't
are
like
not
that much.
100%.
It's so true. It's so true. And we forget so easy. We think we'll remember, but we forget quick too.
I know, and that's why we photograph things.
Right.
And that's why
And that's why you're obsessed with selfies. Women, we're crazy. I go crazy. I can't stop it. Stella, I'm right in the deli. I'm in the subway. I'm on the toilet with. I mean, come on, it's crazy. I don't know.
It's also because you're so beautiful. So you
No, forget about beauty.
You want to capture your face.
I'm not talking about beauty. No, it's just that you want to capture every moment. You really do, and you have the opportunity to do such a thing.
You know, there's a lot to say about technology. You know, it gets a bad rap, but there's a lot to say.
I love it. We love it.
I mean, you know. And
right?
it's ongoing. It's never going to stop. So
I like the fact that if I can bring it on, if I'm allowed to say, the acknowledgements and the people that are really there for you. I like the fact that Stella Parsons, she did a foreword. That's pretty
she
good.
wrote my foreword. It was wonderful. You know, I asked a few people, but she took the time to read, and she was really very supportive. She's very supportive of all actors.
Yeah.
You know, because she loves actors.
Yes.
She's an actor herself and many other things.
Did you see the play, the one written by Horowitz?
You know, I had tickets
and you passed on it?
No, it closed.
Oh, it's such a good play.
Yes, I believe
it's so. It's the best thing that he's ever, and I said it on record, I think he's great, but I'm picky with talent and I'm picky with actors. I don't care if you're a studio member or not, I'm just picky. And I'm not easily pleased. When I went to see that play, I said, this is the best thing that he's ever written. On the record, and she's just great. She's so relaxed on stage. She's just having fun. She doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you get to
a
stage when it's just about your work,
right?
And you want to just have a good time and have fun and share who you are and what you do, you know. And that's what I love about her. She's so comfortable in her skin.
Right.
She's a great lesson.
But you too. You're very comfortable in your own skin, and you're always helping people around.
Thank
You're somebody who's always giving love and giving support.
I think we have to remember where we come from, and that there was a time, I don't care who you are, where you always needed someone to help you. I did, and those people were there. And the acknowledgements, I thought so hard. I worried so much that I'd forget someone important, because I wrote it over time.
How long did you write the whole thing?
Well, you know, I was taking notes and writing pieces for the entire time I travelled, which was 5 years.
Right, that's a long time.
But then I sat down and in Japan, I sat down with all my notes and all my short stories. And, you know, I decided, okay, I've got to do it. And I've got to edit it. And I'm going to do it while I'm living in Tokyo. So I lived in Tokyo.
How is it in Japan? Is it nice?
Japan's wonderful. It's very, very different.
How different?
I'm
sorry that I'm cutting you off in a different way, but I'm curious.
It's a very different culture. It's not like anything that I imagined. I mean, it's changed a lot. You know, a lot of it's very westernized now, but it's a unique place. And I know I'm generalizing. I saw most of Japan. I lived there for 18 months.
That's a long time.
And I worked there, and I did some television there as well.
Yeah, I didn't know this.
There's a lot of American-Japanese co-production
taking place in Japan now.
Japan, oh yeah. And you know, they do a real lot to facilitate English-speaking people. You know, the street signs are in kanji, but they're also, you know, phonetically, so you can pronounce them. And I lived very comfortably, very easily, and I love the Japanese people. I'm still in contact with many of them. In fact, I have 2 people that I teach acting to that are Japanese, and 2 that I teach English to via Skype who live in Tokyo. So that's another great thing about, you know, the digital age.
I know.
It opens up a world that wasn't available.
My father always said that we're one click away. The world now is a smaller place. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're just one click away.
And that's it.
And
Yep.
that's all it takes. It's
In
just one
fact,
click.
do you know, I remember in 1995, I was in Japan and somebody mentioned the word email for the first time.
In Japan?
And I
For
had
real?
no
Idea
idea
what
what
it
email.
was.
So, you know, we haven't had email that long. I mean, really, it's
Yeah, I know. It's
20 what is
shocking,
it,
right?
22 years or something?
It's so true.
And look now, we can't exist without it. I mean, people don't even talk anymore. They either email or they text.
I know. You go to a bar, forget about getting a man. I have a husband. Keep it in the QT. But you go to a bar and everybody's texting. No.
Oh, I saw. You know what?
Everybody's
Do you know what
texting.
I saw last week? Last week I was actually in Canada last week. I was doing a book performance in Montreal.
Oh,
and the
when?
jazz
When?
and the last week, and
Last
the
week.
jazz
Oh.
festival was on too. So it was really special. I saw a couple walking hand in hand, both with their iPhones, and they were talking to each other on the phone. To each other. Walking
each other
hand
on
in
the
hand,
phone.
and it wasn't that noisy.
Right.
So it's a bit of a gimmick too, you know.
I know.
It's fun.
It's crazy.
I think I'll write a short story about that too.
You should. But you see, one thing that I noticed about you, that you captures everything. You're a good observer. You get a lot of fun. You give a lot of detail that anybody, each one of us can relate to, men or women. And they're interesting to read. It's an easy read. And I love all the what do you call it, the graphics?
The illustrations.
I just love them.
Well, you
Are
know,
you kidding?
there's a nice story that's attached to that too. Anita Sinclair did the illustrations. Now, she's one of Australia's top artists.
Okay.
And she taught me puppetry when I was studying drama at Melbourne University. 1979, Sissy. I graduated. So she taught me, I think, maybe 76. And we stayed in very close contact. And she loved my writing, so every time I wrote something, I'd send it to her, and she would start illustrating.
How nice.
And finally, she illustrated all my stories, and I said, well, now I have to publish a book.
Right.
I had the stories, and, you know, most writers dream about having an agent, a literary agent,
Right.
having a publisher.
What do you think about that? You can.
I tried for a little bit, but you know what? They didn't like my title.
I love
They
your title.
wanted
Are
to
you
change
kidding
my
me?
title.
Why? Why they want to change? I
and-
hate when people they're trying to change who you are. I hate that in the first place.
I have a theory. First of all, they might have thought that shrimp shells in my cleavage sounded a bit provocative. Okay,
so
it's
what?
not. It's all comic stories.
Right.
There's nothing provocative, sexual, or
No.
in this.
But it's provocative and it's energetic and it's fun.
And they
right?
and they might have thought that, but also, I think sometimes people need to change things to keep themselves in a job. That's what I think. If they don't find something wrong
They're
somewhere,
gonna
they
say-
don't have a job.
Right.
So-
Smart. You're right.
So I said, listen, I'm very open. I need your help, I said to them. I would love to have an agent. I would love you to publish this, but you can't change my title.
Yeah.
I spent ages working this out.
Right.
And guess what? Everybody that I say this title to bursts out laughing or loves it.
Yeah,
And
I
even,
loved it. I
even if
loved it. And I
nobody
love the
does,
cover,
I
too.
still love it.
I love the cover. I love this too.
Yes, so Anita did that too, which I love.
It's
I
just,
chose the colours, you know.
Yeah, I love orange. I love orange.
I think orange has got a great energy.
Yeah.
I did think of doing, you know, hot pink because I love that. But sometimes hot pink can look a bit, you know.
A little bit. And we have Freddie on the
Poppy.
studio. Just a second, Freddie. Talk to me. You got
Poppy.
address to me? We'll continue with the interview, but what's going on, baby? Talk to Mama.
The recording is not going on. I think we run out of time.
Really? So we have to stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a live show and the people is here. They want
So
to
how many minutes do we have?
live.
Like,
None.
no, how many?
Right.
How much we have left in terms of timing? Like, how long do we record it? 20 minutes only? Okay. So we can't have an extra 5 minutes? Just 2 minutes, 28-minute show? Find out, Freddie. Don't. Haceme saber, amor, preguntarles, ¿quién es el que viene a grabar?
Have we been going for 28 minutes?
Oh, 22 minutes almost.
Oh, that's okay. This is good.
This is good?
We're having a good time.
I know we are, but I want to do the entire show. Dale. Yes, talk to me.
They say they can give you until 8:05.
8:05?
It's 2 minutes.
It's
Good.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, if she can just record the
Tell
DVD.
Gloria to go.
Tell it to go? Yeah,
But
okay.
you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. Okay. Okay. That's why I was so hoping to be on time, because you see the time goes so fast.
Yes.
It is just that haven't even covered the entire interview.
Oh, I think we've covered a lot, Sissy.
We did?
You and I talk 100 miles an hour. I think we covered a ton of stuff.
I know, it's crazy. What do you do next with this? I just wanted to ask you what's happening.
Okay, so I'm adapting it into webisodes.
Okay.
Because everyone said they're good travel stories.
Okay.
And I'm turning it into a one-woman show as well. There's 37 characters, and I'm going to try to play every single one of them.
That's a lot
So
of work.
I'll come back on the show and I'll do a character.
I know, that would be great. And then I have you reading too, out of the book. I went to see you when you were doing this, remember? Close to Canal Street?
Yes, yes.
I was right there and it was fun. And you have a great voice. You have a great singing voice, so you can do it all. Studio member, everything. Anything you want to say to wrap it up. I can't believe it. We're just cut our time.
It's
I hate
okay.
when that happens.
That's okay. Look, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you,
I
Stella,
love
for
it
making
when
the
I
time.
come here. I love being in this studio, and I love it when I'm talking to you because you bring out the best in me. Thank you.
It was fun.
Yes.
I love the shrimp. I love the orange. I noticed the sequences doesn't. You see, if you see it on the screen. Forget about me, Gloria. Go back to her. You see the color.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that orange when you really think about it. But I like the white background. It looks good. We keep going. Okay, Gloria, it's time to wrap it up. It's 8:04. Everybody have fun. Gloria, love you to no end, and thank you for watching. See you guys next week. That's it.
That's wonderful.
Done. No, I mean, we didn't cut it, but what's okay. We post it immediately
it's-
online.